The mere sight of a wheelchair can tend to make many of us feel uncomfortable. But it is a machine that has sparked a revolution.
The wheelchair is a way that helps me live my life.
It has come a long way since ancient China, and it's going amazing places now.
People's fear of the chair is largely due to lack of education. Wheelchairs used to be, grandma or grandpa was in one and now they had 4 years left to live.
10 years ago, Christian Bagg broke his back in a snowboarding accident. He's been in a wheelchair ever since.
To me, it's a tool that allows me to maintain the same level of independence that I did before I was in a wheelchair. If it's fit to me perfectly and I can maneuver it and I don't have to think about it, then it's just this thing that I get into every morning and I use all day.
Over 150,000 Canadians use wheelchairs. For about half, illness is the reason. For the rest, it's aging or injury.
I've seen someone who just isn't ready to see a wheelchair because it represents their disability.
Good.
But then there's other people who you bring in a wheelchair, they think, this is great. For some people, it's the first time they're getting out of bed and really moving around for a full day.
Wheelchairs are designed to give the people who rely on them mobility, comfort, and as much independence as possible without tipping over. The key is getting the axle as close to the user's center of gravity as possible. If the axle is too far forward, the weight shifts to the back of the chair, and it's more likely to tip. If the axle is too far back, then the weight shifts to the front wheels, and it's hard to get the damn thing moving. To help me demystify the wheelchair, Christian has offered to teach some basic wheelchair skills, or, as he calls them, tricks of the trade.
Okay, here we go. I'm practicing my wheelies again.
You've got this fearful look in your face when you're doing a wheelie, and I think it's because there's an unknown. I think you should just succumb to your first crash. Just force it. See? A lot more comfortable.
Nice.
You can see it. Yeah.
All right, good. Thank you for getting that out of the way.
No problem.
Okay.
I have no problem opening a door anymore, but I envision you're gonna have some problems with it.
You don't think I can do it?
I think you might be able to open it, I just don't think you'd look very cool at it.
You want to bet?
Yeah, I'll bet.
$5. All right. Okay, so here we go. I don't want any help. Okay. I just won $5. Please, you're not dealing with the chair. Come on in, man. Cutting it off. So how you did it was like probably
Yeah,
the right way?
I think you did pretty well.
Okay. I was impressed. Now, ramp.
Well, the ramp's pretty straightforward. You have to be conscious of where your weight is too. So leaning into it a bit and taking sort of big strokes, you should get up there, give it a try.
All right. Oh, I'm losing some traction, Christian. Yeah. There we go. Wow, man. Woo.
And you can see, like, you can even do a wheelie up around.
Like crazy.
Again, because your tires were slipping a bit there, and it's because the weight was forward and they were wet.
Forward.
But if you do a wheelie again, all your weight's on the back
the axle.
wheels, so then nothing slips.
If I did a wheelie coming up that ramp, I'd be on my back. This is a frightening perspective.
The whole theory behind this one is don't let go.
Don't let
And
go
then,
of the chair.
yeah, don't let go of the chair and don't let go of the railing.
No.
Down, 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 and you're done.
All right. There's one. There's two. Three. Am I down?
There you go. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's frustrating. You know, there's a lot of...
Yeah, I think, and that's why it's important to learn to use the chair as a tool that it is, in that all those things that were frustrating for you, I didn't take notice of because I've learned how to do it and learned how to use my chair the way it's supposed to be used, so.
Cool. Back 100 years ago, you would never have seen someone use a wheelchair the way Christian does. That's because for most of history, you would never have seen a person in a wheelchair, period. The wheelchair concept goes back more than 1,000 years, specifically to this carving on a 6th century Chinese sarcophagus. Then, you gotta jump ahead 1,000 years to Spain, where the king used what was flatteringly called an invalid's chair. Other wheelchairs followed, a Swiss watchmaker's in 1655, the English bath chair from 1783. But the most commonly recognized chair is the old wooden wicker from the 1800s. The thing is, these chairs were not about giving the people in them more freedom. No, they were about making it easier for able-bodied people to push disabled people around. Disability was something to be kept private. That attitude, that disability was something better left under wraps, would start to change when injured troops began coming home from the Second World War. The old Wednesday night bridge game is an institution at Ken Langford's house. He and the boys have been playing for decades, almost as long as he's been in a wheelchair. Ken ended up in a wheelchair more than 60 years ago when a piece of shrapnel severed his spine. On February 8, 1945, Ken Langford was a young Canadian soldier pushing his way through German defenses when suddenly a mortar landed next to him.
Well, I was waiting there for quite some time, not able to move or not able to do anything, until I saw a little group of 4 Germans heading through to surrender. They picked me up and they turned me over to the medical authorities.
Not long before, Ken's injury would have almost certainly killed him. But medical advances during the war meant that spinal cord injuries were no longer necessarily fatal. The issue now was what to do with him and the hundreds of other paralyzed soldiers back from the front.
They didn't really know what could be done with paraplegics at that time. I recall on one occasion when they were out of penicillin, they asked me if I wouldn't rather have scotch. So I was switched to scotch with the idea that it didn't really matter whether I lived or not.
Back then, the only wheelchairs around were those old wooden wicker ones, the same kind used during the Civil War.
They were designed mainly as a piece of furniture and to be as comfortable as possible. They couldn't go anywhere. On a nice day, somebody could push them down the street, but that was about the limit.
But those limits were challenged, thanks to a friend of Ken's, another paralyzed soldier named John Council.
He was anxious to do as much as he could to help as many people as he could.
The story goes that on a trip to California, John Council came across a new type of wheelchair, invented by a disabled American millionaire named Everest and a mechanical engineer named Jennings. The Everest and Jennings folding chair was a revelation to Council. It was half the weight of the old wooden wicker chairs, and it had push rims. This combination changed the lives of wheelchair users.
The Everest and Jennings folding chair, that, of course, was the thing that made mobility possible. We were free with a little ingenuity to do almost anything we wanted to do.
John Council began lobbying the Canadian government to buy one for every veteran who needed it. After 2 years, the government reluctantly agreed. And really, for the first time in history, people in wheelchairs became part of the social fabric.
It was rather new, but people reacted very well. They accepted the wheelchair as something new, but quite acceptable, and then went out of their way to be helpful.
Soon, wheelchair users weren't just returning to the community, they were playing sports too. But when it came to sports, the folding chair, it just didn't cut it. And that's because some of the energy intended for the wheels is absorbed by the folding cross brace, which flexes and makes it slower and harder to steer. So, in the mid-'80s, the rigid frame chair debuted. Rigid frame chairs are lightweight, but solid. Their joints are welded together, so there's no flex. That means that all the energy that is applied to the wheels goes into making the chair go. The rigid frame chair now splits the market with the folding chair, leaving wheelchair users with a vast array of 2 basic designs to choose from. Can you imagine having only 2 basic styles of cars to choose from? Or couches? Well, Christian Bagg can't, and he doesn't think it should be that way for wheelchairs either. So he went out and designed a new one.
80% of the people who get a spinal cord injury are 18 to 25-year-old males. So it sort of made sense to me to follow this sort of bike route, because you've got the whole demographic of who you're making chairs for it's sort of what they're into. Cars, bikes, snowboards, fun things.
Christian's design is far more adjustable than anything on the market. It can adapt as the user grows or finds new interests.
The seat post can be adjusted for height, and it works on the exact same principles as a bicycle seat. The footrest, it's meant to slide forward and back to change your foot angle and how quickly the chair turns. When you sit in the chair and you don't even move, you're sort of floating. The last major innovation is the way the chair breaks down. And you're left with a compact, tiny frame, like it came out of a cereal box.
Christian sold his wheelchair design to Stryker Corporation, one of the world's biggest makers of medical devices. He now heads up the chair's design and production from his hometown in Calgary. But accessibility is not just dependent on the type of wheelchair. It's about how the chair, the person in it, and the environment interact. Not so long ago, people in wheelchairs faced insurmountable obstacles at every turn. But now, every new public building, by law, must address their needs, give them a way to get in. Still, accessibility requires more than just ramps and lifts. It's about changing the approach to everyday life. The location? Grocery store. My mission? To find out what it's like for someone in a wheelchair to do the shopping. Christine Carsa is a consultant who helps clients make their buildings and their attitudes more open to people with disabilities.
So what does it entail, like coming in and...
Well, if you are a person who uses a wheelchair, you have to be a really good planner, because you have to think about, how am I going to get to the store? Can I get into the store? Is it accessible? Are the aisles wide? And that maybe that there's an accessible washroom, just in case.
So much before you even get here.
Well, I think now that we're here, get into the chair, and I think we need to think about how are you going to do the shopping.
Lettuce. My head is in the lettuce. Wow. Okay, red kidney beans. Don't need beans tonight. Okay, Christine, I do need some help on this one.
Okay, back out, turn around, and parallel park.
Parallel parking.
Parallel park with your back to that post, and then you can reach back and reach the apples.
Okay. I'm no good on this one. I'm worse at this than I am in the car. All right. I'm no,
And then you can reach.
okay.
Good.
Let's go.
Your next assignment is to get some juice out of the juice cabinet.
All right. Tropical okay?
Tropical's great.
Okay. All right. Hang on. All right. Oh no. All right. Okay. Oh. Come on. Oh, there's a little lip there. Go on. Wow. Oh, that's good. The juice is fat-free. Let's go cruise. In practicality, like, say I had a lime juice, which was the shelf above. I can't reach that.
No,
So at that point, what happens? Obviously, you ask.
you ask for help.
Okay.
So I've developed what I call the top shelf gaze. When I look straight up and somebody will walk by and then they will offer. What I often suggest is that a person can say, can I help you? And if the answer is yes, then ask, what is the best way for me to help?
Okay.
I think a lot of people, what happens is they have a fear about the possibility that they might be in a wheelchair. And so that's where they have the reluctance and the discomfort. But really, when you look at it, the wheelchair is a way that helps me live my life.
Cool.
Like any 13-year-old, Michael Zura's life is filled with computer games, music, and yes, damn it, homework. But, unlike most kids, Michael does it all from his power wheelchair.
I have a tumor that goes from like the base of my brain down to like the mid area of my back.
The tumor means Michael is a quadriplegic. He can't move his legs, he can barely move his arms. The only thing he can control is his head.
To go forward, I would push back on my headrest, and it would go forward, and then to go backwards, I hit the switch on the side, and then push back. And then to go left, I'd push left, then to go right, I'd push right. Then I'd push on the switch again to go forward.
Michael's chair is powered by components hidden in the base.
So this is the wheelchair controller. It's like the CPU on a computer. It controls all the power of the chair. The batteries go into it, the motors come out of it. Most power chairs take two 12-volt batteries in series. The controller plugs into the batteries. These are gearless brushless motors. One for left, one for right. And then of course you need an input device. In this case, the most common device is a joystick, which plugs into the controller. And when that's turned on, the motors spin.
Controls for the chair depend on a user's abilities. Those who cannot use a joystick use a technology called sip and puff. Breath changes the setting on a delicate pressure switch. The switch then sends commands in the form of electrical currents to the wheelchair's motors.
Give a hard puff once to go slowly forward, and I will just drive forward. I can talk, I can breathe, and I'll give a hard sip to go backwards. And a soft sip is left, is a turn, and a soft puff is right. So with practice, this chair is very controllable.
Incredibly, Michael also uses sip and puff to control his laptop's mouse. Instead of going to the wheelchair's motors, the signals are sent by infrared beam through the armrest to a receiver attached to the computer. Then, speech recognition software allows him to write.
Today is Sunday, March the 13th, 2005, period. I will be going up to hockey today. I hope we win! Exclamation mark.
But the thing Michael loves about his chair more than anything else is that it gives him the freedom to be one wicked hockey player. Sunday is game day in the Canadian Electric Wheelchair Hockey Association. Michael's a winger with the Stars. Wide open, Michael hits speeds of up to 9 miles an hour.
That's it, it's all you.
The other players control their chairs with joysticks. Michael uses his headrest. He uses it like a pro.
My chair allows me just to go out with friends. It's a part of me. Without it, I probably couldn't survive. That's the way I think of it.
And maybe that's the way we should all think of wheelchairs, as amazing tools that let people get on with the business and pleasure of living.